so much happening in that weekly green candle that you see playing out on the screen. Still 3 days, 6 hours. We're going to dig into the charts. We're going to zoom in. We're going to see support, resistance, all that good stuff, targets, what's going on with ADA in the short term, how it's reacting to the news that broke today, but fundamentally so. What's happening in this green candle, extremely important of this long-term story of Cardano that we've been tracking, right? So want to definitely break down the charts. Before we do, everybody, I want to just go over something. This was from February. ADA will likely not be considered a security for two simple reasons. The Cardano ICO was in Japan, not available to US investors. Number two, a judge recently ruled in library case that secondary sales of LBC tokens were not securities. Can we add this to the list? US judge declares XRP is not a security. If you're a crypto holder in general, this is a huge day. So congrats to you. There's a pound. It's a really good day for XRP holders, for ADA holders, for Bitcoin holders. We're talking about we need clarity in this space, right? And we're slowly getting it. And it's happening in the courts. In Congress, this is Tom Emmer, GOP Majority Whip, making a really good point. The Ripple case is a monumental development in establishing that a token is separate and distinct from an investment contract it may or may not be a part of. Now let's make it law. Now, yes, let's make it law. And when it comes to ADA and this huge news, I can even more confidently sit here and just say, if XRP is not a security, I really do not think ADA is a security at all for now multiple reasons. As this is happening, everybody, we continue to see Cardano DeFi, and just look at this chart. Look at Cardano DeFi. This is at USD. I want to point something out. This was a bull market high, 320, just over $300 million. We're not even in the bull market. Bull market has not even started yet, right? We're just kind of in a winter still. $182 million right now. The next bull market high, let's say it's in 2025, can only imagine what total value locked for Cardano would be. But look at the ADA total value locked chart. It just keeps going up. You look at these protocols down here, building on Cardano, DEXs, CDP, lending, NFT lending. Look at these gains. DeFi right now is exploding, and it's like the first inning. It's not even, the game hasn't even started. That's all happening. So a lot coming together for ADA as we just survive this bear market and as we wait for the pivot. Now let's talk about this. Let's talk about the charts on Cardano. All right, there's so much going on here. First thing I just want to make note of is, at a glance, you can kind of just see this area around 42 cents for ADA. It's just kind of been just this area of resistance, especially as we're trying to pivot. We're trying to pivot out of the bear and into a new cycle to the upside. I think that 42 cent area is probably a notable area. You actually can even just go, when ADA was falling in the last bear market in 2018, it actually bounced right to this area. So I think that that horizontal trend line is definitely useful. I think I might leave it there. But on top of that, let's discuss the move that's happening right now. And we're going to talk about short-term targets, what's happening with ADA. I want to discuss the move on the weekly briefly. And there's still 3 days, 6 hours. So it's going to be important to see how this plays out over the course of the next few days or so. I want to open up the CCV power band, which basically helps us identify resistance, support, trends, right? Hints of trend reversals. So what I'm seeing, I think the most notable thing that I noticed was ADA exiting this bottom band, this purple band. It's a big deal because that's what we want to see. We want to see ADA spending its time in the blue. And that's probably still a time away before that happens, but you can just see ADA in a bull environment, just spending a lot of time in that blue, or at the very least above the upper 50% of the band. So escaping this oversold area of fear, that's a really big step on this weekly. We need to see how this weekly ends, but you can see we have two lines here. This more straight line, that's this momentum line. It's currently red. I'm currently waiting for that to turn turquoise. It's still red. It was turquoise. It was turning turquoise after an entire bear market of red. It was turning turquoise. And what happened? SEC had to step in, kind of ruin that on the short term. Waiting for that line. And then we have this moving average line. It's kind of a smoother moving 20 moving average. waiting to see if ADA can get above there and turn that turquoise as well. But look at the immediate resistance at these two lines. Just such confluent resistance happening with the CCV Smart Band. And I'm going to talk about these CCV indicators towards the end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned on how to get access to them and all that good stuff. But lastly, on this weekly, I wanted to discuss this MACD. The MACD line getting ready to, at the very least, it's not happened yet, getting ready to, this blue line cross the signal line in red. All the while, we're getting this upward momentum back into the green. And this is where we were before the SEC kind of said, nope, right? So we're looking for this strength of momentum to the upside. So it's going to be very telling to see how ADA ends this week in the next 3 days, 6 hours. That's what I'm watching right now on the weekly charts. We're slowly watching the shift, though, from bear to bull. Let's go to the daily. So a lot happening here. Resistance, a huge piece of the story. It doesn't matter how bullish the news is. We talk about this all the time. Headlines can act as kind of a trigger to make, an event can trigger an event. An event could trigger a move on the ADA charts or on any crypto chart. But even still, we really do have to respect the technical analysis that's sitting there. And cryptos do that, right? And we're going to get a firsthand look at that happening. We had a formation. We actually go to a 6 hour to look at what that looks like. You can see this chart prime indicator painted a symmetrical triangle on the chart, just such nice structure. You can see what happened though. And this is such a good illustration. We got this break to the downside. That's what the X is, this breakout. We had a smart target of around 26 cents, but check it out. There was like no separation from this lower trend line. And what are we getting? We're basically getting a busted pattern. We talk about these all the time. Kind of a fake breakout to the downside and boom, explosion to the upside. Not to mention, and this is a really good time to mention, right to the target. We're looking at like a 35 cent target, 34.5 cent target for ADA. Look at that. 6 hour, boom. So we had this event that triggered ADA to just break out of the apex of the symmetrical triangle to the upside, hit the target, and now we have immediate resistance. It is of no surprise. The reason why this resistance is really notable is if we go to the daily chart, we have this Fibonacci resistance now that ADA is kind of playing around with. Before the SEC stepped in and did what they did and ADA fell, we had this area of consolidation. We're going to take it from that point to this next area of consolidation down here. It's a lower high Fibonacci resistance. The 618 is right around 33.5 cents. The 786 right around 35.5 cents. And we have a 200-day moving average because we're on the daily chart, just confluent with that red line. Look at that resistance. So much resistance here, and it's respecting that. Is that to say ADA's not going to break above it? It very well can, and that would be an extremely bullish move. But remember, what we're waiting for is ADA in general to get back to where it was before all of this SEC fear, uncertainty, and doubt kind of came into play. We're looking for ADA to make back all of those losses. Part of that is breaking through these resistance areas. So this is the immediate resistance I'm really watching. Let's just call it 35.5 cents to 33.5 cents. In there, we have the target out of the symmetrical triangle. It's been hit. So there is so much confluent resistance where ADA is right now. If we see strength in ADA, this is such a big deal for these ADA charts. I want to open up on the ADA charts on the daily, this momentum oscillator. This is the CCV Smart Wave, and this paints multiple things. Obviously, momentum, right? The ribbon kind of acts as a quicker moving momentum oscillator. We have the stock RSI. The ribbon is a very similar portrayal of that. Oftentimes, it acts as a leading indicator for ADA. But the thing I want to talk about in this particular video, what's happening right now, is ADA on this histogram. You see it turning turquoise. That histogram will really give us an idea of the momentum to the upside that ADA still has, right? So we're going to see this quicker moving ribbon. We'll see it pivot. We'll see it move quick, right? Throughout all different consolidations and even pumps of ADA. It'll give hints as it approaches overbought. It'll give hints of, hey, anticipate some consolidation. And then same to the downside, anticipate some consolidation, right? But this histogram, check this out. We're going to zoom out just a little bit. I want to just make note of this histogram, when it was kind of going turquoise to the upside, approaching overbought previously, and this is back in April, this was a really great indicator in terms of finding basically the top before next consolidation. All the while, you can see that chart prime rising wedge upper trend line being hit, right? So taking all these indicators, bringing into play confluence is so important when doing this, but just look how nicely this overbought histogram was. Same thing kind of happened back here. This was back in the beginning of the year in January. Histogram, we're getting these really nice moves to the upside. Look, ADA escaping the 20-day moving average just as it is right now. We're starting to get the histogram go turquoise, just making really nice moves. You can even just see actually this ribbon just called a really nice area of consolidation on the quicker moving charts. But my point being, when this histogram's getting into overbought, right? Overbought, it's tending to maybe take a break or consolidate, maybe come back down and put in a higher low. My point in bringing that up is this. ADA's making a very powerful move right now, and there can be short-term consolidation, right? There can be short-term resistance. And we're going to look at short-term consolidation, even a throwback for ADA on the short term. But look how much room still and time there is to potentially continue to the upside on this histogram for ADA, similar to what it did in April, similar to what it did all the way back here in January. There's a lot of room for momentum to the upside, meaning there's room for ADA to make an explosive move, to really pivot this entire cycle around. So that's something I'm very much watching on this CCV Smart Wave. I think it's acting as such a nice visualization tool for these ADA charts. Going to the 6 hour, still around 5 hours left on this 6 hour candle. I don't know if it'll close this ugly or if it'll continue a power move to the upside. The reason that power move to the upside is important because remember, 35.5 cents is the Fibonacci resistance upper end, and also we'd be breaking this 200-day moving average. So if the 6 hour candle gets momentum to the upside, that could be a really good sign for ADA. However, we hit the target. So I don't know what's going to happen in the short term. I will tell you what I'm monitoring besides that resistance is a throwback. This happens. It really does just happen. So a throwback could be to around the 29 to 30 cent region for ADA, as well as we can probably chart a Fibonacci to give us some nice context to some type of throwback swing low consolidation before this blast off. We have this Fibonacci retracement. It's right around 30 cents at the 786 to 31.5 cents. So if ADA does just take a break and cool down and trickle sideways, this would be a very nice area to watch for support. Whether or not it holds, it's something to analyze and wait for, but just a really, really key area to watch for. So this is all the things I'm watching for on the ADA charts right now. Such an important move though, everybody. In terms of just this macro pivot into the next bull cycle as we prepare for the next bull cycle, in terms of ADA getting back all of these losses that the SEC pretty much brought into play for ADA investors, this is a really nice move to make that up. So we're going to continue monitoring all of these things. So these indicators, everybody, that I've been watching, and by the way, I should also mention even the chart prime indicators. Here's one, which is basically this symmetrical triangle that was painted by Chart Prime. It's a Market Dynamics Pro. There's a Market Dynamics, Market Oracle Pro that we didn't even talk about in this video that is offered by Chart Prime. Point bringing this up is I have this collaboration that I'm launching literally right now with Chart Prime. You're getting Chart Prime's product. When you go sign up with Chart Prime, 7-day trial, this is the deal. You're getting my indicators for free. You're not paying extra for it. And you're also getting the CCV Pro course that I've been working on since last year. You're getting it for free. So simply put, I'm collabing with Chart Prime. When you sign up with them, in the link below, you're getting all the Chart Prime stuff, the tools, but you're also getting my CCV Smart Wave that we just discussed, as well as the CCV Pro course, which I'm really excited about. I want to just make a note of something. I've discussed the power band in this video. That's still kind of something I'm testing. I'm still working with. This will be in play, obviously, when it's released, but it's not released right now as part of that deal. But we'll definitely be using the tool as we get used to it and track the data. So really excited to be collabing with Chart Prime. So make sure everybody go try it out. Try out the CCV Smart Wave and try out the Chart Prime products and get started with the CCV Pro course. I will be adding content to that, just trying to over deliver in value, just as we continue just to track just my crypto journey and crypto in general. So I'm going to leave you with the nice little promo video that many of you probably have already seen, but I appreciate each and every one of you. An awesome day for crypto today. I'm genuinely very optimistic about the future for crypto. I was already optimistic, but now I really am optimistic. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Hit that like button. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.